All right, what is up, Utah fans, Big 12 fans, and anyone watching this video because you just love college football and can't get enough content? This is Joseph back with the Big 12 Football Digest, and Kenan Johnson is transferring out of Utah. It's quite a story. This guy came in as one of my favorite transfers I've seen Utah pick up since I started covering the team. I'm excited to dive into it, guys. Before we do so, like the video. That's going to help get it out to more Utah fans, more Big 12 fans. Also, comment down below. What do you think about Kenan Johnson leaving? Is it bigger of a deal than I'm making it out to be? Is it less of a deal than I'm making it out to be? Let me know your thoughts down below. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We put out a ton of Utah content, a ton of Big 12 content. Whoever your team is in the Big 12, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. We are also a part of the 1012 network. The 1012 network is sponsored by Charlie Hustle. Charlie Hustle is vintage made fresh, great products. They've got great shirts, great clothes. Go to their website, charliehustle.com. Use code 1012 network. That's TEN 12 network at checkout for 15% off any non-sale items. Again, that's TEN 12 network at charliehustle.com. Vintage made fresh. Let's go ahead and dive in and talk about Kenan Johnson leaving Utah. Okay, guys, great article here by Jason Jones breaking down all the data we have because it is quite a story with Kenan Johnson. There's a lot to know about the situation. Like I mentioned, him coming into Utah, he was one of my favorite transfers Utah's ever gotten. Big pickup, a guy that was a big time playmaker for Georgia Tech before he came to Utah. We'll look at those PFF grades. We might as well look at them before we even break down this article. So let's go back to the 2023 season for PFF and let's go find Kenan Johnson. So Kenan Johnson. All right. Boom. Here he is. All right, Kenan Johnson. I'm going to put this on the screen. So let's take a look at Kenan Johnson here, guys. This is while he was at Georgia Tech. You can see for Utah, he played almost no snaps, but there's a reason for that. There was a really serious injury right out the gate. So you really never got to see him for Utah, but getting an idea of what he was able to do as a corner at Georgia Tech will give you a great idea. So you can see here, guys, this was a guy that played outside corner, lined up against some of the best receivers that the opposing team had to offer. Take a look, outside corner, and his biggest sample size was clearly 2023 with 479 reps at outside corner, and in 265 coverage snaps, he was only targeted 35 times. I believe that is, let's do the math on that, 35 divided by 254. So that's a 13.7% target rate for an outside corner. That's a very strong number. And on top of that, only 20 catches actually allowed. Really good number there. And then so 20 catches divided by 265 coverage snaps, so 7.5% in the ACC, which does have some very good passing teams. And what else stands out is a very sure tackler, right? A 17.1 missed tackle percentage. And don't forget, as a corner, you're out there on an island a lot of the time when you're asked to make these tackles. Only allowed 272 yards on 479 snaps at outside corner, 265 coverage snaps. So basically a yard per snap right there. So good numbers. Yak only 119 yards and only allowed one touchdown, caught an interception, and broke up two passes. Just to give you an idea why he was the guy I was so excited about last year when he came to Utah, but now he is out. Let's go back to this article and let's read through it here. So Utah defensive back Kenan Johnson has entered the transfer portal, capping an eventful college career that spans 6 seasons in 2 programs. Johnson appeared in 46 career Division I football games, and 45 of which came during his time at Georgia Tech before transferring to Utah for the 2024 season. He started 12 games in his career, 11 with the Yellow Jackets and 1 as a Ute. Johnson's time at Utah was cut short due to a season-ending injury suffered in his debut. Like I mentioned, guys, right out the gate. He started at cornerback in the Ute season opener against Southern Utah, recording 3 tackles before exiting the game. Despite the limited action, Johnson brought extensive experience and a strong resume to Salt Lake City, which included multiple productive seasons at Georgia Tech. While at Georgia Tech, Johnson developed into a reliable defender in 2023. He played in 11 games, making 8 starts. So you can kind of see basically what we were talking about here, guys. He was a guy that was really exciting to bring to Utah, had P4 experience as a full season at starting outside corner and did very well. And in multiple seasons rotating in and getting reps at outside corner. So when he went down early in the year last year, that was a big, big hit for Utah. Stick around, guys. I'm going to give you my final thoughts on Kenan Johnson in a second. If you made it this far, guys, please do make sure you smash the like button. That's going to help get the video out to more Utah fans, more Big 12 fans. It means a lot to me. Also, comment down below. Like I mentioned, like, what are you guys thinking about the situation? I'm going to give you my final thoughts here in a second, but I want to know yours. Is this a really big deal, a small deal? Let me know what you're thinking. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're a Utah fan, you can see all the Utah stuff behind me. This show did get rebranded to cover all the Big 12, but at my heart, I'm still a Utah fan. Go Utes. So let's talk Kenan Johnson, guys. So Kenan Johnson was a spectacular player transferring over to Utah, a guy that I was so excited about when Utah picked him up. And I really thought we had two, him and Zemiah Vaughn this past season, two lockdown beast corners. Right out the gate, he gets a very severe injury where it seemed like they were unsure if he was going to be ready to play this year. Obviously, I'm not laughing. I'm just saying it's wild. It's just a rough go there, right? And a kid that really just was seemingly just enveloped into the program, just gave it everything he got, tried to kick butt while he was here, and it just, the injury was just too devastating. My thoughts are two things. I wonder if money played a role. I'm not saying it did or it didn't. I'm just thinking they picked him up as a guy that started in the ACC for a full season at outside corner. And he came here, probably a huge reason was because he wants to be coached by great DB coaches. And we consistently send DBs to the NFL, but also probably we paid him quite well. And then maybe after that injury, it was a conversation about, hey, I don't know if we can pay you that much, right? It's like, hey, we're expecting some rust and we're going to need solid outside corners. Now, my thought is that could play a factor, but I think ultimately it could have been kind of a fair split where it's like, hey, you're not 100% right now. I'm not saying he is or he isn't. That's just my guess is he's not quite at 100%. And it's not looking like he's going to be there to start the season next year. And Utah needs to put the money somewhere else. Sucks because I really was a huge fan of Kenan Johnson. And if he can get back to even 80, 90% of where he was, I mean, some team's going to get a really good player. The numbers were really good, and this was against good talent. So I'm excited to see what happens here. But yeah, kind of as a Utah fan a year ago in the offseason, you would think like, oh man, if we lose Kenan Johnson next year, it sucks. But at this point, after the injury, you don't know where he is in that recovery. And I'm guessing this is probably a good move for Utah. Sucks for Kenan Johnson. Wish him nothing but the best. And I hope he goes and proves them wrong wherever he winds up. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Like the video. Comment down below what you think about the situation. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm out of here. Go Utes.